Hey, and welcome back to Art a la Carte. Today we're going to be learning how to draw unicorns. As you may know, I have a lot of art drawing videos on my YouTube channel about how to draw horses, and so unicorns are pretty similar. A lot of times people will just take and draw a horse and then just put the unicorn horn on there, and you can definitely do that. But there are a few things that I like to change about my horse when I draw them as a unicorn. So let's take a look at some of the differences before we talk about the horn. Here is a basic blocked out outline beginning sketch of a horse, and I'm using the proportions that I would use in a normal horse. So let me show you kind of some things that I would go to change when I'm drawing my unicorn. For one, I'm going to make its neck a little bit longer and a little bit more slender when I draw a unicorn. So I'm going to taper that up a little bit. And by making it a little bit thinner, it gives it that kind of elongated look. I'm also going to shrink the head down a little bit smaller than I normally would. I might keep the cheek area about the same size, but the muzzle of the horse is going to get stretched out and shrunken just a little bit. And a good reference for the skull shape would be maybe like an Arabian or an Andalusian, one of those horse breeds that has a really nice dished forehead. And their eyes are going to be drawn just a little bit bigger than I normally would. I'm going to bring their ears tips up just a little bit higher. By bringing them higher than I would on a normal horse, it's just going to add, going to make something go off a little bit in the picture, which is going to add to something being different about this horse, which will follow suit. The nostrils I'm going to make very slender. Now for the mane and the forelock, I'm going to give them very long and kind of curly forelock and a mane. That'll kind of hang in their eyes. And I'm going to have the mane come down a lot longer than it would on just a normal breed of horse. Of course, there are some breeds of horses that have just this gorgeous kind of manes. I think they have a little unicorn blood in them. Now, if you really wanted to go in for some fun detail, it's really cool to draw little flowers or butterflies hiding or growing in their mane. Okay, so now that I have this part kind of done, I'm going to come down to the chest, which I'm not going to make my unicorns very muscular. They're very lean. And then their legs, I'm going to draw thinner, which is going to give them kind of the appearance of being longer. And you can draw them longer too than normal, but very, very thin. And as it comes down to their fetlock, which is the hair near the hoof, I'm actually going to have some of this kind of curly hair here kind of come along towards the back here as well. And their hooves, I'm going to draw very, very tiny little hooves. Okay, for the belly, I'm going to make her very slender, having it kind of come up almost more like a deer than a horse. She's going to have a nice round rump, but then again come down to a very thin back leg. With once again just a very small hoof. And a nice feathered kind of hair on her back leg there. Now there's lots of different ways to draw unicorns, and before anyone starts commenting and saying, that's not what unicorns look like, just remember they're an imaginary creature, so they can look really however you want them to look. But this is just how I draw them. Some artists, when they draw their unicorns, make them look more goatish and they give them a nice little beard here. I don't. I like them to look like unicorns. The one thing that I do take from a traditional kind of drawing of a unicorn is I do like the tail that has a bit of a tail bone to it. Some of them will have a very long tail bone and have a little bit almost like a lion's tail. I have it come out a little ways and then go into a nice full very curly tail. And I make my tails really long. Ridiculously so. Okay, so there's the body structure of my unicorn. So let's look obviously at the most important part, at the horn. So let's look at some different types of horns first before we go and draw one on our unicorn. To get them nice and straight, I use a ruler because everyone asks me, how do you draw a straight line? I don't. A ruler does. So I'm going to draw one curved line. I'm going to hold it at the top and I'm going to pivot it and draw it down. That's going to give me a nice straight horn. Now there's traditional that you can just ring it. And you want to not make just straight lines over. You want to curve them just slightly. And by curving them, you're going to show that contour. Another way to add a little bit more depth to this is around each of these bumps. You're just going to add kind of some texture between each of these. So there's a unicorn horn. Now you'll notice as it starts off at the base, how it's larger, there's a larger spacing, and as it goes farther and farther up the horn, how the spacing gets smaller and smaller. Let's look at another design of a unicorn horn. I will draw my lines, pivot it out, boom. Now there's another way, kind of making it more of a corkscrew. Instead of drawing my curved lines side to side, I'm going to draw them up. And when I go to draw the next one up, I'm going to wrap it up and bring it around. So I'm going to take this one, and I want this line to come up like this. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to bring it out and up. And then this one comes up to meet that one. Out and up. Out and up, out and up. So two very similar horns, only this one has more of the corkscrew, where this one is just kind of ladder effect almost. Let's do one other. Now again, as I said, unicorns are mythical creatures, so you can use your imaginations. So what's to say the horn has to be a horn? you could go almost like a tree limb, so you could kind of come up and have it branch off to a tree limb up here. And just could be an old snag of a tree. And then adding some shading to that. This could definitely be a unicorn of the old forest. I don't know. Just have fun kind of coming up with different things that could be a unicorn horn. Alright, so once you've drawn up some designs and you know which one you want, I think I'm going to actually go with corkscrew for the unicorn I've just drawn. Then you can go ahead and put it on your unicorn. Once you decide what type of horn you want, then you can go ahead and put it in. And I find the best way is to use my ruler and coming between the ears and then halfway between the eyes and the ears, right about here, I draw just kind of a guideline. And I make sure, put it down, that I like the height of my horn. I'm going to add a little bit of thickness to it. And again, I'm just drawing, just got the shape in there so that I can go in and get some really nice detail. I'm going to go up in here. And remember to keep your coils a little bit thicker towards the base of the horn. And as they come out closer to the end, you're going to make them smaller. And there we go, our finished unicorn. I hope you found this tutorial fun as we drew some unicorns, and I would love to see your unicorn. So please, if you draw a unicorn, post a picture to my Facebook page, or you can always make a video response to this video so that others can come and watch your art videos as well. Thanks for drawing with me. Have a wonderful day. We'll draw with you next time. God bless you guys. Bye-bye.